Hello, everybody. My full name is Sanchita Chakraborty. I work with the Association for New Canadians as the diversity officer. And also, I kind of in the side, like weekend business, kind of, you can call me a business entrepreneur as well. I run a dance company called Bollywood Jig, a very cross-cultural dance concept that we try to bring into the community. And today, the reason I'm so excited to share this information quickly with you guys, I will be your moderator this evening in this event with the Diversity Summit 2020. And the reason I'm too excited because of you guys, my fellow entrepreneurs in this same community, same province of Newfoundland and Labrador, that widely expands all these opportunities for newcomers, for immigrants who comes with wealth of business ideas, innovation. And so today's program would be exactly on that, and having a group of such successful entrepreneurs with you guys and sharing this platform with you all, I myself feel extremely privileged. So having said that, why don't we start with a quick introduction with our panelists today. If you would like to introduce yourself, that will be great. So who would like to come first? I do see the names that we have here. I do know very well, all of you. Minnie Nair, I have Joe Teo, I have Eldin Husic. Thank you, Eldin. So I do see Eldin on my screen at the moment. So would you like to start with, Eldin?
Sure. My name is Eldin Husic. In English, I guess it's Husic, so it's much easier to pronounce it. I am the owner and the operator of Balkan Kitchen, a small restaurant here in downtown St. John's. We are on Cookstown Road. By the rooms, it's a beautiful day outside. As you can see, the sun is shining through our window. I've been here for a couple of years now. The Balkan Kitchen has been in operation for about more than 2 years, and we are constantly evolving, changing. It is a restaurant now. In the future, it might be something completely different, but that's the whole part. That's the whole fun about it.
Wow. Fascinating. I've heard about that kitchen and that restaurant. It's awesome. So my next week, maybe after the work day schedule, I'm on it. Next we have maybe Minnie Nair. Miss Nair, would you like to go next?
Yes. Hi, my name is Minnie, and I have been in this country for past 10 years, and this is my homeland now. I run my own day home. I used to work in a daycare, but now I have my own day home, and it is called Minnie's Family Childcare Center. It's not because it's my name, Minnie, but because Minnie for small. I have small children with me. So it's like a mini nest for me. And I've been doing in this business for the past 5 years, my own business, and I wouldn't ask for anything better. I'm so happy that I chose to do my own business.
That is so cute. Sounds like it. Sounds like a bunch of cute little friends there you have in your team. Wonderful. So we'll learn more as we go with our event. Next, I have Joe Teo. Mr. Teo, would you like to introduce yourself and say a few things?
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me on the panel. Really happy to be here with all of you. My name is Joe. I'm originally from Malaysia. I've been here for around 10 years. It's actually my 11th year. Came here in 2010. And after I graduated from MUN, I started a software company called HeyOrca. We are a social media management platform used by agencies all over the world, and even music artists as well use us. We serve around 500 customers all over the world. We're based here in Newfoundland, but our customers are mostly in the States. So, I think we are one of the testaments that you can build a global company, but still be in Newfoundland. So I'm really happy to be to call Newfoundland home, and really happy to be part of the tech industry here that is young but growing.
Wonderful. Sounds like something I can see there, Joe, a part in me when I started my program here with the Bollywood dancing, or rather, sometimes some people prefer to call it Indian cinema instead of Bollywood. I prefer the same, in fact. And I can sense that performing art, that hunger of expanding your innovation, your creativity in a new place with newness and freshness. So my next question would be, and anybody can join me in this question, whoever wants to go first, if Minnie or Joe or Eldin, please feel free. So as we can see, like there's so many immigrants with such entrepreneurial spirit that they come in with these new ideas, new thoughts, I call it that invisible backpack, So why do you think that's the case? That's the case in this province, like you see such entrepreneurial spirit?
My take is like risk is not that foreign of a concept for us. I mean, to go from your home and to call another place home, it takes a certain appetite of risks. And the other thing as well, I think when you are coming in from a different perspective, you see opportunities that people if they live here every day wouldn't be able to spot. And you bring that diversity of thought with you. And I think like that's why a lot of entrepreneurs are actually, if you look at even the tech sector, if you look at any of the entrepreneurship programs, half of them are immigrants. And I would say like a lot of them, more than half would be international students. And I think it's just driven by this curiosity to discover. And that's what led us all the way here to Newfoundland to, explore something new. And I think like a lot of it has to do with, our background and that we've taken risks and, we're not afraid to take another risk if we see it as a viable path.
I totally agree with Joe when immigrants have more entrepreneurial skills, because when we come to this country, anyway, we adjust a lot. We accept and we do a lot of sacrifices. So to start a business, even if it doesn't go well, we are ready for the failures. But I think mostly it's a success when we start. Initial stages, there is a lot of problems, but I think as Joe said, a lot of diversity we put in, and we put in ideas from outside, and then here we go, we then start. And I'm glad that this province do accept us to our our businesses. It might be slow, but we'll reach there.
Yeah, great point. I would like to add something as well. Yes, the immigrants or outsiders always bring a new perspective to a place. The reality of Newfoundland and Labrador is slightly different with the rest of Canada, let's say, for example. There aren't that many jobs. We don't have a great manufacturing sector here. There's a strong service industry, so there are plenty of work in that field. But if you're doing something different, like Joe is doing, you are better off creating your own reality within reality here. So that is a very important element that immigrants do. They come here, they see what things are like, they learn them, then they adapt them, then change them to their own kind of liking. So we basically create a brand new reality to ourselves and to this place. And we sort of create our own work for ourselves by filling in the holes that exist in the existing reality here. So there is that. It's almost like you need to create your own reality, because you cannot really be a great Newfoundlander. We are all Newfoundlanders and Labradorians here, but you shouldn't really follow the ways that you find here. You should learn them, improve them, adapt them, and improve on them. This is what I believe that our greatest strength is in creating something new.
Yeah, just to add to Eldin's point, I think that's a really good point, where a lot of times they say innovation is necessity is the mother of innovation, right? Or something like that. But I think as immigrants, I mean, like to be honest, you're starting from nothing. right? You're starting from no connections, no friends, no maybe context, a lot of things like we have to learn on our own and build our connections from scratch. And because of that, it seems to the same thing goes with career as well. Is that to Eldin's point, you have to have that mindset that you cannot rely on the system to help you because you're already at a disadvantage compared to a Newfoundlander, let's say. But but the system here also do reward people, does reward, and I think this is what I appreciate, is that it rewards hard work, it rewards innovation, it rewards creativity. And I think immigrants, where we are able to take that risk and willing to take that risk, are able to create the reality that we want to see happen in the world. And that's why we have, all the entrepreneurs here on the panel. Bollywood Jake was from a vision that you had, and you made it a reality. And I think that's why it's inherent to us. And it's also partly a necessity in the sense sometimes that we need something to work on, and we started to find creative ways to solve that problem.
True, Joe.
Wonderfully said. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead, Minnie.
No, I agree with Joe. And with Eldin, what he said, sometimes we are at the advantage, we bring in more ideas, and finding job is hard. So we look into business side of it. But for me, I already had a job, so I learned the roots of the business and then started on my own. Wow.
Absolutely commendable. And, one thing when Joe was telling me that part of the story of your side, I still remember one thing my brother always tells me, and I take that as a learning, for my own this entrepreneurial spirit, as I say it. When I graduated from the university, I used to ask him, or getting people often sometime, as an international student, often you get a bit frustrated when the job market or, other workshops that doesn't really go according to your plans. So I used to ask I think I'm going to move out of this province. I have nothing here. There's nothing for me. My brother asked me one day, he made me realize this with this question. He said, I often hear from you, this province has nothing for you. What do you have for the province? And that question stick with me. That is where the majority of our thinking and our, collective thoughts comes in when we talk about this entrepreneur spirit, business side of us, all of us. So my next question, if I ask you all, again, feel free to answer whoever it suits goes with your stories and life history here. Your business ideas. So a fundamental part of any business is competition, as we all know. As you said, Joe, at that time, why I thought for me, again, I'll share quickly, as a founder of Bollywood Jig, to me, that newness of Bollywood dance, that dance from overseas, not having many teachers who teaches Bollywood. And I do see a community who actually were looking for something new ideas, new dance forms, So I took that as an advantage, in this case. And although I started with only 1 or 2 students, but later on over the years, I think so far I have taught thousands of students, and hundreds of shows we have done. So I take that as a huge business, entrepreneur pride, when I say this, because I shared something that I had with the community. But then for me, the competition was a little bit less. In this case, though, how do you think that is that's the biggest competition or competitive advantage for your business, for your work that you do with your business? I have Minnie on my screen. If Minnie wants to go, sure, go ahead.
Well, there is a competition in this field as childcare, because people are all looking for the best childcare, even if it's a daycare or a child home. There's not many, the children are more and people ECs are lesser. But if you have created a positive outlook and you have given your best, there is no competition. I'm talking about myself. 5 years, I created a place for myself where I gained the respect from people whose children were in the daycare with me. So I did a lot of stuff. I went out of the way and did a lot of stuff for the children. I brought in a little bit of Indian education to it because I was a teacher in India. So I brought some of the learnings from there, mixed it up with the Newfoundlanders, told them our stories, told them our folk stories, folk songs, and things like that. And parents actually started appreciating because I was bringing my culture, and not just my culture, cultures from different parts of the world. Like, for example, I had a Jamaican child. I used to do Jamaican days where they could wear their clothes, they could dance, their music. Then I did South Africa Day, so they could incorporate the culture. Then I did an Indian day and a Bangladeshi day, a Pakistani day, a Sri Lankan day, different kinds, Irish day. So people started looking at me saying, okay, this girl is for here for business. Like, she is here for real, not just, she's not fake, she's here for real. So when I started my own business, I really thought that nobody would come to me because of my color. But the truth was, I have a wait list till 2024.
Wow.
I'm not joking, a wait list till 2024. And every week, I at least have 5 calls from people asking me, saying that, we have heard about you, can we put our child in? So this is my perspective. I don't know others, but I did really struggle in the beginning. I made a place for myself. I stood by myself. People believed me because I did what I was truthful from inside, no fakeness. So, and I love the children, love as if it is my own child. So then people believed in me, and there is competition, but I have no fear of this competition because I give the best. If you don't come to me, you are the loser, not me.
Fantastic. That's a very positive and very, I can sense a very successful, child care program that you run, I can tell. So who wants to go next? Joe, Eldin, you have anything to add with that?
I can go next, sure.
Sure.
I believe that if you look at the competition, you are doing something wrong. Competition is not necessarily there to give you stress, and you should not look at it. We're going back to the previous point. If you're creating something new, you're creating something good that contributes. And back to your brother's point as well, what do you have to offer? What is missing in this place that you're offering? Why are you different than somebody else? Why somebody want to work with you or get your service or get your product? There's, the sea, the world is big. There's plenty of opportunities for everybody to try different things. Mm-hmm. People will go back to what they like. And if you're offering something that is truly beneficial to their lives, then you're going to have customers. That's no problem. It is very important to work on cooperation rather than competition. I have done, Balkan Kitchen has done work with so many other restaurants. These days we have pop-up shows where Balkan Kitchen goes to, let's say, Jitsi room, or we have items from fabulous food selling in our place. So I think that's also very, very important to find a way to cooperate, to work with others. Flexibility is very important. You cannot be rigid in any business that you're doing. Again, you're learning the ways of the native place, you're adapting them and you're improving them. But that is your job. So you have to also be able to, you can focus on one thing and just go one way, but it's also good to diversify. So Balkan Kitchen is also a concert venue. We have shows here, we have music, we have kids talent shows, things like that. It's not just a restaurant because you can get food pretty much anywhere, but when you go to a place like, let's say, Bollywood Jig or Minnie's Kindergarten or Joe's Software Company, you're getting so much more. You're getting a bit of a history, a bit of worldliness, So competition really, I mean, the competition can happen between the people who are on the same level. So let's say there's 3 Balkan restaurants in St. John's, but there's only one. So you're only competing with yourself. You are only trying to be the best at what you can do, and you can do that easily. Again, the key words are cooperation, flexibility, social networking, and being a part of a community. You want to be connected with everybody. You want to make sure, yes, we are Balkan Kitchen, but we are here in St. John's, Newfoundland. So Balkan Kitchen in Manila is completely different than Balkan Kitchen
in Newfoundland.
Being a part of this place brings so many more benefits.
Fantastic. I absolutely loved what you said, that statement saying it's not about the competition, rather the cooperation, or, I think you're right. Any creative ideas, and to me, business entrepreneur spirit is a creative and very innovative individual ideas. Sometimes all it needs is that courage. So on that note, I do want to ask if Joe would like to add something on that, or should we move on?
Yeah, not too much, but yeah, I agree. One thing that we say here at HeyOrca is community over competition. The 2 ways of looking at the playing field, right? But the pie is always big enough for everybody. And we should work on expanding the pie versus trying to get the small pie for ourselves, if that makes sense, because you would never capture the entire pie. To the question around what's our biggest competitive advantage, I honestly believe that even though, let's say if we started off in Newfoundland with 0 connections, we have to remind ourselves that we have international connections that people here don't have. That is number one. A lot of times, like, we see that as a baggage sometimes, coming here and try to integrate to a new society. But I think over time, we appreciate the international roots that we have, and we are able to seek perspective from outside of, this province. The other part as well is international experience. I think we're very comfortable connecting with different types of cultures. And I think, sometimes when we meet other international people, we feel a little bit more at home, even though they're maybe not the same culture. Somehow there's a connection that we share this experience of coming to a very foreign land and going through the same journey, and we have our own battles, but we can relate to each other's battles. It's very different to talk to another Canadian and talk to them about your struggle, because they can't really relate to it. And then lastly, I think it will be our immigrant perseverance or tenaciousness that inherently needs to be there if you are going to do something substantial. I just referred to Minnie's experience. Starting out, it's scary, it's not easy. It was probably very, I'm just gonna assume it was probably easy to give up in the early days. And when I started HeyOrca, it was the same thing. But I always reminded myself that you're just pushing the rock up the hill, and obviously it's going to be hard because you're climbing up the hill. But once you're up top, the rock would start rolling down. And especially with a place like Newfoundland, reputation matters.
Yeah.
And when the rock rolls really fast, and you start not being able to catch up, with that rock. And now you have to catch up with demand. I guess keep up with demand. So you have to persevere. You have to look at your international background as an asset and not a liability. I also have met people that see their international background as a liability, and go into a very dark place in the sense that I'm at a disadvantage. No, but you should take another perspective and say, this is your advantage. What can you bring to the table that is very unique when you compare with other people that you're competing against?
And the route is never a bed of roses. It has to be.
Yeah, exactly.
Never a bed of roses, but it's how you overcome those and reach there.
Absolutely. These are fantastic. I like the metaphor rolling. What is it? I
call it the rock or the boulder up the hill, right? It's a big rock, just trying to roll it up. But
and the rock starts rolling.
It takes the earliest part is the hardest part.
Yes.
And we are staying in a rock, that. Our province.
That's true.
Metaphor. Oh dear, talking about the struggle and the
ups and downs, the challenges.
Yeah. Yes. So I'll tell you quickly, one of my challenges here when I started my Bollywood jig dance here with the idea that I'm going to share this cross-cultural learning, And so I came up with this name, the Bollywood from overseas, and jig is our own Newfoundland's jig. So I put it together and here we go. The message is clearly out there. However, the challenge became one day when my best friend from Twillingate and from Buren, when they asked me, hey, you want to go for cord jigging? So to me, I just learned jig means dancing. Jig means the musical part that we call it musical jig or dancing. You mean, so to me, the culture shock was, you mean cord jigging? You mean fish will be dancing? And what is it? I didn't know. So later on, they're like, no, it's the jig means you're jigging the cord, you're catching the cord. So I think we all have our own, those funny incidents in our lives. So let's move on. I have a question now for, I'm going to ask this maybe to I'm going to start with Minnie, if I can.
Yeah.
We'll start with you. So as a childcare operator, you are perhaps the most, you perhaps had the most unique introduction, or you introduced your clientele, the children and the families there with your heritage and foods as you talked about, and teaching them some part of your culture as well. Let's say the subcontinental culture that we have out in South Asian land. So with these, your heritage and the food style, the food habits that to your childcare menu that you provide, what have been the key benefits for you? And second part of that question is the children in your care that you are serving or you're helping, you're taking care. Do you see any kind of like anything that is day to day you find can be challenging for you to integrate?
The food?
Food-wise, yeah, let's say food or culture-wise.
Well, when a parent comes to me, I have a contract and I have the menu. So in the menu, there are some days that you have to have Monday breakfast, lunch, snacks, breakfast, lunch, so every day. And
Okay.
I do not use anything frozen, tinned, or any kind of junk. There's no juices in my daycare. There's no chicken nuggets, nothing like that. So I'm very strict on the diet part of it, because if I could change one child to eat healthy, I feel that I have made a major change in this world. So it's all healthy food, organic, healthy food. I try to do my best. If I can get organic. And water is compulsory for my children. They have to drink water. There's no juice of any form, and no tinned, no frozen. I get up early in the morning and cook my food. So in the menu, I have certain places where I have incorporated Indian food. Like I have butter chicken, naan bread, rice, and things like that. And I add my spices, but it is not hot.
Okay.
It's not hot. Spices doesn't mean it has to be hot. So I have my cumin powder, my turmeric powder, and things like that. So when the parents see the menu, they keep asking me what's added in the butter chicken. So I tell them like turmeric powder gives you an immune system, creates an immune system. I use only coconut oil or olive oil. So this is good for, these are the health benefits. And surprisingly, my parents have always accepted that menu. Like it's not every day, but it is on few days. For example, if I cook spaghetti, I add a little bit of turmeric to it. So it is like an Indo-Canadian or Indonesian food. So turmeric powder is there in everything because I want the children to grow up healthy, create an immune system. And I put a lot of herbs. Even if it is spaghetti or mashed potatoes, there's a lot of herbs, Indian herbs and some herbs from here. So they got the taste of it. So now when they come in the morning, they ask me, is there paichi chicken? Paichi chicken? So they love it. They love rice. And surprisingly, my parents also love my samosas, my food. So they're very happy about it that the children are trying different food at the very low age. So when they grow up, they accept people. And I have not found any parent having any problem with the color of the skin or with the color of the food. They are perfect. And my children, thank God, cross my fingers, children are absolutely, like, in the beginning, yes, when they see spaghetti yellow color, yes, but as days goes by, they are perfect. They're okay with it.
Brilliant. It sounds like you are actually, like,
Thank you.
introducing some really good food habits there, because
Yeah,
we
because
also,
because the children are may not be staying in Newfoundland. They have to fly out, so they are getting
Sure.
used to it.
Right.
So yeah, it's for different.
You are opening up their taste as well.
Yeah. I'm giving them wings to fly off.
There you go. There you go. And I'm sure you do know that turmeric is one of the superfoods.
Yeah.
Turmeric and coconut oil, which is great for our diet. Yeah. Brilliant. Minnie, you're running a successful program. I can absolutely see that. And my next question, if I can ask that to Joe. So Joe, your company, HeyOrca, am I pronouncing it correct?
Yeah,
HeyOrca?
it's hey, like you say hey, and orca, like the killer whale.
I like that.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So has its tagline, right? World software served with NL hospitality. I get to learn that while reading about your website. So can you talk about this slogan, that how it was shaped by your experience as an immigrant to this province?
Yeah, so we serve most of our customers are in the United States. And so when they interact with us, I think one of the biggest things that they are struck by is basically how polite and kind everybody is at HeyOrca. And one of the things that we really wanted to promote, I guess, this province and the country more is really, really lean heavily on the Newfoundland aspect of the company. Now, a lot of people try, when you sort of like talk to other people, they will tell you to, hide your Newfoundland roots if you want to do business somewhere else. I think we're a testament that you can do a global business. Like we have customers in New York, LA, Seattle, Atlanta, and they don't really care where we are, but they actually love that we're in Newfoundland, or have that kind of culture, because it's so different from like your normal customer service that you would get in the States. And so we lean really heavily on this Newfoundland brand and be able to bring the province to other people through our work as well. And I think in terms of like how my immigrant perspective has shaped this, I think it's more so appreciating different parts of different culture and where we call this home. We definitely want to be proud of where we're coming from, where this software is built, and where these brains are located from, right? Like people need to know that this software that's being used by so many companies around the world is actually built right here in St. John's. And, it's to be able to appreciate the diversity. And so we always tell our customers, we're served with Newfoundland hospitality, world-class software, because we're competing on a global stage. But then again, our secret sauce is really the Newfoundland hospitality that we come to know and love here.
Such fascinating stories you all have. My goodness, this is awesome to learn about. Yeah. Finally, so I have next question is for Eldin. Eldin, we can all agree that the restaurant, the food industry is like extremely competitive, be it Newfoundland province, be it province, our neighbor, Nova Scotia, be it even Ontario is like even bigger competition. We know that. So we can all agree on that the restaurant, the food industry is extremely competitive, and the profit margins is also tight. So, excuse me. So to what do you attribute your success in operating the Balkan kitchen in this place?
Again, going back to the uniqueness aspect of it all, a Balkan experience consists of a meal, a story, a joke, and a song. So when you come here, we will tell you a story from the Balkans, let's say about one of the oldest bridges in my hometown, Mostar. We tell you a little bit about the history of that place. I will tell you a couple of jokes because our sense of humor is completely different. The rhymes sarcastic, very much like British style.
Mhm.
I also play music, so I will at the end of the meal do a traditional song, or an original song, or a cover song. So you basically get the whole experience. I believe that you eat through your eyes, through your ears, through your nose, of course, through your mouth as well. But if you go to a place where you just have a meal, whatever that is, whether that's Indian food, Italian food, Balkan food, or it's a great meal. Food is always good, especially if somebody actually takes care about it and makes it, its own profession. So just the food itself is very important, but providing a little bit more than just like Joe was talking about the hospitality that we are known for here. So creating that whole experience, and I think that's why people do come back again.
Mhm.
And again, here in Newfoundland, we're connected with each other so much more. So when people coming here, they feel very relaxed. This is a very relaxed atmosphere. We have a sofa, we have games, cards, board games, or whatnot. So people can come in and just relax a little bit, talk, and hear something new. So for a moment, you enter here, you almost go to a different environment because the music is completely different to you, the smell is different, people are different, so you get that whole experience. A lot of people, we had so many people walk in and just kind of walk out, because they didn't know what to do, what to expect.
Mhm.
They were not ready. So this is not for everyone, not Indian food, Balkan food, or any experience. Bungee jumping is not for everyone. Yet bungee jumping companies make a lot of money.
Right.
So you are providing something that is very unique and something that opens the heart, the mind, and the belly in my case.
Right. You guys are, you know that I'm a silent learner. I'm stealing all your ideas here. I can see that how food is a great ways to. Now the problem will be for my dance classes though, that I have to add to bring many more students, to encourage them more. So I think food is.
For example, we can have a Balkan kitchen at Bollywood gym.
There you go. That's what I'm saying.
There you go. So you guys,
I'm
something
visualizing
like that.
it.
The cassava of the St. John's barber shop is a friend of mine. So cooperating, creating these things,
Exactly.
doing something together, that is our advantage. One thing that I wanted to announce here, and it's not really a part of my question, but I do think that we need more connection.
Yeah.
Just immigrants, but I think people in general. I believe that within the City Hall, St. John's, there should be an organization called First Step. All of us should input our information as entrepreneurs, businessmen, artists, software developers, doesn't matter. So there should be one big bank of information about all of us, so that when the next person comes in here and wants to open a business, wants to open a dance studio, wants to start a chess club, wants to be a musician, wants to do some IT work. So he goes to that office within the center and says, listen, can you connect me with these people? Yes. Here you go. Go here, go there, do this, do that. The reality of our life, the logistics are always a nightmare. Getting all the permits for food, for electricity, for garbage disposal, things like that. We don't know. As an immigrant, I had no idea how to recycle things, what my garbage day was. I mean, these are silly things, but very important. So I think if we were all connected a little bit more, we need something like Facebook, but for our needs rather than our desire. So you can go to one place and say, this is my problem, and they can point you to the right direction.
Yeah, yes. And Eldin, you know what? This is totally, I 100% agree with you. A connection, the world and the time and the age that we're living right now is the networking.
Yes.
With the world, connecting with each other. Look at this whole pandemic. This COVID-19 taught us that we're actually one. It's like a one whole gigantic nation. We're all on the same page. So we're in the time now, almost time to wrap up. So I have one more quick question for all of you. Please feel free to jump in. What is the one lesson you wish you knew when you began your entrepreneurial journey that you would want to share with other immigrants? So today, people who are listening to you guys and learning from your ideas as well, that other immigrants thinking of opening their own businesses. So one that quick lesson that you wish that you knew before, or that helped you along the way, that you want to help others as well.
I can go ahead.
Sure, yeah. Minnie, go ahead.
A few things I want to tell the immigrants before they start a business. Always do a business that you know about it. For example, if Joe is making $1 million a year, doesn't mean that I can go into that business and I'll also learn, because I have no idea about IT. Mm-hmm. Or I see Eldin making $2 million. So tomorrow I wrap up everything and I say, okay, I'm going to follow Eldin's cooking. It doesn't work like that. Mm-hmm. Whatever passion you have, you run behind it and do that business. Doesn't matter, you don't earn that much, but at least you know the reins of the business. You know how the business runs. Like if Eldin wants to open a childcare, maybe he may not be successful, even though I might be earning more than him. But mm-hmm. I hope I'm earning more than him. But that's one thing. What happens is people see, okay, Minnie runs a childcare business. Why don't we all do it? It doesn't work like that. You have to have a passion, a real passion for the thing that you do. It's because there will be downs. It will be downs at the first place, and you just leave it. Okay, I don't want to do this. I'll start another business. It doesn't work like that. Mm-hmm. And the second thing I want to say is, when you come in as an immigrant, for example, I come from India, or somebody comes from Malaysia or China, don't just stick with those people from that particular country. You need to make connection. You need to spread out your wings and learn the local thing. You have to respect your culture and the culture that prevails here. You need to respect your people, and then only you can respect the people here. Otherwise, a business cannot be run. Many immigrants find it hard to branch out to the other community. That's one lesson I learned here. As soon as I came here, I jumped into the community. I made friends, made connections. So then only you will know where to go, whom to approach. Like how Eldin said, you need the connection to approach people, to know people. Where can you get your resources? Where can you get help? If you sit at home and just mingle with your people, okay, I'm comfortable, it's not going to work. Mm. And then don't be afraid of your language, your pronunciation, your name. Everybody is respectful here. So if you say that, okay, this is the way my name is pronounced, people will agree to it. You don't have to change. I know a lot of people who have changed names to get jobs or to get business. I don't think so. You need to do that. That's my view. You don't have to do it. And any immigrant who wants help or need help, I'm always there for them. From any country, doesn't have to be my country, any country, I'm there. And I'm trying. I do a lot of things for, Sanchita knows, I do a lot of things for students, for people. I try to connect them with various jobs and all. I try my level best.
You do, yeah. Connection. You try to help with connections. That's great. That's very important. Sure. Joe. Should I read the question again, or?
No, I got the question. Yeah. For me, it's, I guess this is general advice as well, is that you're going to make a lot of mistakes in life. I haven't stopped making mistakes, and I think it's just part of life. I think the most important thing is to understand that there's the past, the present, and the future. Now, our job is to forgive our past self for the mistakes that we've made. And then our job in the present self is to learn from those mistakes and make decisions that our future self can look back and be proud of our past selves. So past, present, future, understand that mistakes are inevitable. You can go two ways. If you made a mistake, you can either beat yourself up, or you can take that as a learning opportunity. And right now you have control, or you can't control the past, but you can forgive yourself for the past, learn from it, and make a decision that hopefully in your future self can look back and say, I'm proud of past Joe for making this investment or making this perseverance to persevere in my business. So, mistakes are not final. Mistakes are just time to learn, and you're gonna grow stronger as a person. But you just got to move forward, but learn from the mistakes, but forgive your past, make the best decision for present, and something that your future self can look back and be proud of. So that would be my my parting advice.
Wonderful. Last but not the least, Eldin, last word. Few words from you on this.
Thank you. I would like to say that I personally enjoyed listening to you guys so much. You have been so inspirational to me. Thank you, Minnie, and thank you, Joe. You as well. Well, I think that one of the most important thing is to find yourself first. You really have to know who you are, what you want. This is going back to Minnie's point. When you have a strong foundation of yourself or your own preferences, desires, work ethic, morality, a lot of different elements. And then when you know yourself, you can go from there. Now, don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't go at it alone. Don't go in and thinking, yes, I can do this. No, ask for help. Let everybody else help you. Let other people do their work. We have marketing and advertising, whatever it is that you need for your business. Let other people do their work and pay for that, pay for their expertise. You cannot do things alone. Don't think, yeah, this is easy. I can do this. I can do my own site, my own this, my own that. No, there's people who can actually really help you grow exponentially. So this proper investment, when do you pay? When do you do things yourself? Recognizing things goes back to my previous point of knowing yourself. So know your strength and work on them. And what you don't know, ask for help. And you will get it and be ready for it. And finally, on a personal level, you should also know when to give up.
Sorry, say it again?
You should also know when to give up. If things are not working out for you, if you're constantly hitting the wall for whatever reason, whether you're not communicating well, whether this or that, rebrand, change. This is back to Joe's point. Your past is not your future, it's not your present also. All these things are interchangeable. In my personal opinion, I realized I was a professor of marketing for 10 years in South Korea. Prior to that, I was an officer in Yugoslavian army. I was a tank commander, and now I'm a cook. But I realized that I want to be a rock star. I know it sounds funny, but I play music, so I perform music around town for people, for guests, and I actually make more money playing music than I make in the restaurant. And I think my heart is representing the Balkan, but I don't think my heart is really in the kitchen per se. I love making people happy. I love communicating. Food is one way of communicating with people, but my true passion is not there. So I'm transitioning my business into something else. We're going to have a multicultural cuisine here. The Balkan kitchen is cooperating with other kitchens to bring their own food here and do something out of here under the name Balkan Kitchen. So it is very important to know yourself and also realize that along the way yourself will be changing with your business, with the place, with your co-workers. And I think the true courage is to accept yourself for who you are. Don't go blindly at it. I must make it in my business. I must do this. No. The world is big and there are so many opportunities. Whatever is not working out for you, change. If you don't change, people will change you.
Yeah.
Wow, this is very eye-opening and extremely, I'm sure, just like myself, many of our other newcomers, entrepreneurs, people who will bring ideas and also already have ideas that to do more with their, innovative ideas here in this province. I'm sure they're going to learn many things from all of your ideas. Minnie, Eldin, Joe, I don't know how we can thank you guys, because I think if I can take away two things, I would conjointly say this, that as Minnie said, borrowing, she brings this experience with her. You bring your ideas with you from your, pre-migration, and then you're implementing those within this post-migration in your own province now. Joe, fantastically, you are saying that, respecting past, present, and future, very important. The other great lesson that Eldin, you are giving is also to know that when to maybe give up or change or be prepared for failure as well as success, and I also want to say this to our community here in this province, that we also have a responsibility, that is supporting our locals.
Yeah.
Each other. That's how we create the connection. That's how we strongly stand as a community together. I think that's all we have today.
And thanks so much for all your great questions and moderating.
Thank you guys.
Enjoyable.
No, I think.
Thank you.
Absolutely. I do appreciate your time, all of you, Minnie, Joe, and Eldin. Hopefully our path will meet again. But this is a great lesson for all of us. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Shukriya. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you.
Thank you.